David had a genius idea for this new show because he is a genius. Um, where we're gonna talk about shit specifically pertaining to games. David, please introduce the concept.
Welcome to Match Chat. This this is a bit different than the Lonesome podcast, where instead it's a bit smaller conversations about just whatever we feel like talking about in gaming right now. And E3 is happening right now, and a lot of news has been coming out. And a big thing right now is two very popular first-person shooters have entered crossplay. Which, what crossplay is it's most of the time what it is consoles players being able to now play with PC players, but that's not always the case. What's your definition of crossplay? I just want to hear it.
I don't know, just from like system to system, right? Like because
Yeah.
like console to PC is a little bit too like it could be like to mobile, it could be whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I mean, to take a very good example of what like a shining star of what crossplay is, take Fortnite.
Yeah.
You can play on Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PS4, PS5, PC. The way they integrate it is it's all free. All your accounts are simplistically linked to the Epic Games.
Yep.
So it does not matter, like, you don't have to like set up this stuff like, well, now I want to play with PC people on my Xbox. I have to go to the Epic's game website and use this code or whatever. Now it's straight friends, just a friends list.
Yeah, and then that makes it so much more straightforward too. And it's like it reminds me a little bit of like back in the day. Like when Wii Sports was blowing up and the Wii as a console was blowing up and like so many more people were playing games. We're having a big new surge of gamers because of Fortnite as well, and because of this specific system. Because you can play on your phone, and let's say you're level like 80 or whatever the fuck, you can move right onto your console that you may want to buy after that, and you can pick up right where you started from.
Exactly.
And that's a big piece of it too, right? It's not just like playing with other people from other consoles. That's something people don't want to keep having to do the work over and over again.
And like I feel like it's gonna be sort of the norm. There are multiple norms that kind of are a little niche right now that you could say some norms today are very much niches a couple of years ago. Like, for example, take the Battle Pass when it first came out in Fortnite. Now loot boxes are completely gone. You do not see loot boxes in games that come out today.
Yeah.
It's all Battle Pass, and it's a play reward system instead of luck reward. Which,
Yeah.
of course, gambling and all that.
Which is it's more user friendly.
Yeah, and
People like it. People are receptive. People are receptive to it, but it also makes money and it's also easy.
Mhm.
And that's what's important. Is like the company doesn't necessarily care if you love them, but if they can get both sides of the coin, if they can get you to love the brand and love the product, then of course they're going to lean that way.
Yeah.
Unless you're EA.
And you ruin Battlefront by deciding that you want money.
Mm.
But that's a story for another day. Another example crossplay is in the past couple of weeks, Overwatch is now going crossplay. There's currently a beta to test it out, and it's going to be up in about a week or two. And how they're doing it is a little bit different, but it makes sense for a much older game per se. Because Fortnite kind of had this idea straight off the bat, how they want to do crossplay, but it's a complete different story when you want to add crossplay to something that doesn't have it. As in the past, Xbox gamers had to play with Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. Now how it's working is it's a lot more simplistic. All the servers for the consoles are not connected, but if you want to play, say, your Xbox, say like Jay says Overwatch on Xbox, but we have it on PC, he can now play with us by just connecting his Xbox account to Battle.net.
Yeah.
Which it's a little on the way, but it's still good.
Yeah. I was trying to think like the history of crossplay too, and I think the first time I ever like was able to play with someone in a different system was between like, and this is probably not the first time ever, but like
Hmm.
you could play from like the Xbox One to the Xbox 360 on like certain games because they had the virtual console.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a smaller version of it. And like you said, Fortnite is the big pusher of this, and I actually
Hmm.
have a funny story about that. Where Epic went to, which is the company that made Fortnite, went to PlayStation, who was holding out on crossplay, and was like, "Listen, you may not like crossplay. It's not great for you competitively because you're the biggest brand in terms of gaming, but we're gonna get what we want." Literally, they said that.
Yeah.
Like, they were like, "We're too big for you to say no," basically. And it's ironic because like Sony was at that time bigger. I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but
If
Fortnite could just throw themselves around. They could just be like, "Listen, we're too big right now. You got to say yes. Eventually, you're gonna say yes," and they did,
yeah, I mean,
and that's where we are
Fortnite.
now. And now every game wants to do this now.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about, but when Overwatch first released, it blew up. Everyone was talking about Overwatch in 2016, but only 2 years later, the if you take the scale of population that Overwatch had its peak, and Fortnite, even before its peak, it's huge.
Yeah,
Like
uncomparable.
it, and I think the first, like, they weren't even the first ones to have complete crossplay. That was actually Rocket League, where they had the big three, and this was before Switch came out, so. But they were the first ones to actually have PC, Xbox, and PS4 completely compatible. And that was like back in 2017, 2018, and now it's 2021, and I mean, it crossplay. There are many games that have all the way crossplay. Um, a big one, which is Minecraft, which you kind of don't think about first, but Minecraft actually has complete crossplay. It's just Windows 10 and Java are still a bit different. But other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But not all crossplay is done well. That's the thing. Like
Yeah. Well, yeah.
just this week, Rainbow Six Siege revealed their crossplay, and there has like I don't know all about this, but there's some reason for this. I bet maybe coming in the near future. But the way they said it, it's like nope, this is all we're doing for crossplay. We have no plans in the future. And how they're doing it is they're taking Stadia and this other thing called Fava or something like that, and they're combining the servers of those two smaller systems in like a week, and then in a month they're combining the servers for PlayStation, Xbox, and that's all they're doing. So there's still technically three servers for different stuff. Only now it's the smaller consoles, the bigger consoles, and then PC. Which in
Yeah.
I mean I get because there's always been the complaint, especially on Xbox, of he's using a keyboard and mouse on controller. It's unfair, especially in a game where headshots matter a lot.
Yeah.
And Overwatch's way the deal with this is when you are playing on a controller, um, it what they're doing is you no longer have aim assist if you're playing with PC players. You will if you're playing with only console players. But if there is a PC person in your lobby, aim assist is turned off for those other 11 people. So it's real interesting to see. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
in the near future, I see crossplay becoming very much a norm. But it's just a matter of time for right now, I'd say.
We're in the beginning of this shit, and it can only go up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't exactly have a lot of cases in history of like things being innovated and then like cut back on in this way, especially in such a market like this where everyone's always fucking complaining all the goddamn time about everything.
I also think it really helps that there's has just been this saying back in like the early 2000s of the console wars, which for example, it was the Wii, the 360, PS3. That's not really a thing as much. Yes, the consoles are still, which console's best, but the game companies themselves don't care about the console wars as much. I mean, just the past few years, Xbox and Switch have been so buddy-buddy that we now have Minecraft Steve and Banjo-Kazooie in Smash.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we have the...
Well, you know why they're doing it's strategic. I mean, not that I don't think Nintendo really like bites into the same market share as Xbox and PlayStation exactly, but PlayStation is winning, right? And Xbox wants to look better than PlayStation, and right now, I mean, it's just looking better and better as time goes along. And that's another thing with like E3 is like you don't see Sony there, you see Xbox there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's bigger implications for that, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna forget that Sony held out on crossplay for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Xbox would have done it too. Don't get me wrong, but people like to see their companies as people. They like to feel that they're personal, like Jace, and
Yeah. I feel like it also has to do with something with just who runs the company. Because when you think about it, I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but you know who the CEO of Xbox is. You see him every presentation, every E3, and he's all like he makes it very clear that he loves video games just as much as the next guy. He's not some business exec that wants money or anything. And it's the same thing for when Reggie Fils-Aimé was in power in Nintendo America.
Yeah.
But when you look at PlayStation, you really don't have that higher up to connect to. I feel like that's something Nintendo has always done well, of having someone in the higher up, like the president of the company, that kind of is relatable in a way, or like a fan favorite. I feel like that definitely helps their business.
Yeah, and some people care about that, and some people don't, and that's why PlayStation's winning. It's just people just want to play great games, and when they hear that PlayStation has great games, that's what they want. Can you blame them? I mean,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Forza as next to much as the next guy, but it's Forza every year, and PlayStation is rolling a 30-sided dice of which game they're going to blow up in the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Which not saying it's a bad thing. It's just a lot more.
A lot of Xbox games are more acquired taste too, or like niche.
Fair.
Like the biggest example being like Sea of Thieves.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's not for everybody.
No, but I mean the people that play it love it. That's the thing.
And that's something that Xbox is doing too. Like that's crossplay with PC. A lot of Xbox games are now, and it makes me wonder if Xbox even really cares about consoles anymore, or if they're just trying to build this Game Pass brand and then move on to just Windows as the brand. I mean, it will still be like Xbox, but I don't know if they're gonna focus on consoles as much. I think consoles are kind of dying.
I would not be surprised if we saw in the next year.
The Xbox could be a pre-built PC in like 5 years.
Because, I mean, look at all the Xbox tech that we have pre-installed on some Windows PCs now. And some of that stuff isn't even accessible to Xbox players. I would not be surprised if not this generation, the next is the last generation for Xbox, and it's all PC, which just comes back to crossplay, where it's either mix the players together or the players become one. And that's what's looking at.
Yeah.
Love to see how it finds out.
Love to see how it finds out. Amen.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what I want this series to be just yet. I mean, it's the first episode of many recordings that we've tried to have in the past, but if you enjoy this, let us know and we'll make more, because I love talking about game design. I think just there's so much that comes into it from just programming. You could say it's just all of it, but there's so many details that have to go into, just say, a COD game alone that has to be thought about. So many
Yeah.
intricate things. I just feel like I could go on a whole rant about each little thing.
Yep.
So, well, I've been David,
I've been Nathan.
and this has been Match Chat.